We have a God-sized hole, right? And only the true God of the Bible can actually fill that hole. I'm here to warn you that if you don't have that, this little vapor of a life we live is a waste. Step 5. Admit it to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. We might easily assume that step 5 is something we should avoid. It kind of seems like it because we do it seemingly alone or just with one other person. We're not kind of in our group atmosphere. So it's almost one that kind of gets put to the back burner. You don't really hear people talk about step 5 that much. The Bible talks about knowing God in spirit and in truth. Ultimately, we may see God as the truth. And I want to submit that if you are looking for a higher power and you're really clinging on to that higher power of your own understanding and you decide it's some ancient alien in the cosmos, or it's the spirit worlds, or it's the sun and the moon, those have no power. That if you don't find the actual God of the Bible in His Word, you are not going to find a God who has power. And therefore, it's idolatry, and you're wasting time and effort, and you're going to circle through this unsatisfactory life. They always talk about addiction, trying to feed this hole that's inside us, and only the true God of the Bible can actually fill that hole. Nothing else can fill that hole. We've tried sex, we've tried addiction, we've tried gambling, we've tried acting out, we've tried overworking, overeating. Nothing fills that hole except a reconciliation to God Himself through His Son Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for our sins. That's the only way it works. I'm here to warn you that if you don't have that, this little vapor of a life we live is a waste. In step 5, we examine the information we found in 4 and make sure it is the truth. Step 5 is an evaluation of inventory and an attempt to get a better look at the information we gathered in this whole inventory process. That's all we're doing is gathering inventory. We're running a business, we are that business, and all that inventory, we got to figure out what the hell is going on. Step 5, we admit it to our God, to ourselves, and another human being. Why is that necessary? To admit it to God, to admit it to ourselves, and then, in fact, to talk to somebody else about it. If we're aware of it, we can start to deal with it. But what were we before we gave up and surrendered? We were not experts in what? The truth. We were running our lives with a lie. If an individual has a problem for weeks, months, or even years and didn't know he had a problem, it's pretty obvious he is not an expert on the truth. So after going through the first 4 steps, we don't rely on the information as we see it. We have a good record of the truth. No one individual really knows the truth anyway. Only God knows the truth. But we human beings only have our perception of the truth. And we can see now that before step 1, our perception of the truth was very much distorted. We used for this reason. We made these excuses and lied for these reasons because that was our truth. And we lived in that truth. It's a lie. So we can't come to ourselves and be like, well, I've evaluated all my truth. It's got to be true. I did it. So that's why we take it to God and to somebody else. If you're doing the steps, you've hit rock bottom and your life has been at some point. You've hit crap, tons of anguish, pain, misery, and it sucks. So therefore, all of a sudden, just because you've gotten clean and sober and you started thinking about it a little bit, doesn't mean your perception is fixed on the truth and all of a sudden you know how to fix all your problems.